Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode on my music collection called Best of the Box. So I have over 11,000 CDs in my collection. I've got 97 boxes like these that you see behind me that are known as the Banker box. When cut down, they will each hold 90 CDs. So 90 times 97 is 8,730 CDs collected in those boxes. And I thought for this particular series, I'd grab a different box each time and reveal the contents that are inside. And so they contain different things like whole artist collections or all of one genre type. Could be a box of latest purchases, collection by one record label in there, and of course, so many more options within all of that. But before we dive into this, if you are new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with Best of the Box. And for this particular episode, we are gonna focus on bootlegs and rarities. So I've got the box here next to me. I'm gonna pick it up just to show you and put it back down so I can go through it, but we'll take the lid off of it. This is one of my newer boxes. It's actually separate from the 97 boxes that I was just talking about, and I'm working on this one. So you can see that it's actually missing a few. I'm working on filling this one in. As I get more, it'll go in here. But this one here is a pretty interesting box, and since I just started it, and it's actually separate from those 97, I'm working on filling 5 more boxes like this, so I'll be at 102 shortly, and I'll eventually change that intro to include that. But for this one here, we are going to dive into this, bootlegs and rarities. Let's see what we got. First one in here is Asia on tour from 2017. It's a 2-disc set, and this one here being a bootleg. Most of these are. I'll point out when they're not bootlegs. This one here, as I said, 2017, but what I was interested in is the lineup. So we got Carl Palmer on drums, Jeff Downs on keyboards. Of course, those are 2 original guys with Asia. Then we've got Sam Colson on guitar and Billy Sherwood on vocals here. And so different lineup. We got Billy Sherwood singing because John Wetton was not with them anymore at this time. And just made for a cool listen. They have yet to release anything with someone else singing. So hopefully they will do that if the band chooses to continue on. All right, then I've got this AC/DC bootleg here, but this one here, as you can see, featuring Axl Rose. So 2-disc set here from obviously the last tour that he did. And it just really cool to hear Axl Rose singing. Now, all of these, I have to say, within a few rarities here, all have absolutely excellent sound, and it's the reason I picked these up. Then I've got this one here, Black Sabbath. It's called The Eternal Idol Working Tracks. So this one here being tracks that Ray Gillen had recorded with them, but it's got a whole bunch of different outtakes and things of that nature for it. So they have since released the Ray Gillen version of the album, but even this here is different than that. So that was a cool find. Got some more Black Sabbath here. This one here, which is called The Battle of the Demos 1985. It's Tony Iommi versus Geezer Butler featuring Jeff Feenholt, who was one time going to be Black Sabbath vocalist, also fronting Geezer Butler's band at the time. And so on the back side of this, we've got 2 different recordings, Tony Iommi demos from 85 and the Geezer Butler band demos from 85. And since Geezer Butler didn't put any of that stuff out, this is the only thing to hear what he was doing at that time. So really cool to get that, and of course also just to hear what Jeff Feenholt would have sounded had he fronted Black Sabbath. Then I've got this, Paranoid, and it is cut from original vinyl, the UK original LP edition of it. Ripped onto CD here. So this is the one that features the different track listing than what, of course, made to the original US and became the standardized version of the album itself. And it's just got a warmer sound to it being of the LP. Then we've got some stuff from the Geezer Butler Band. They did play some live shows at that time. This is from 1985, and it does not feature Jeff Feenhold. It has a different lead vocalist, Richie Collison, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Pedro Howells is on guitar. He'd work with Geezer later on and stuff. So then I've got these. Big fan of Lou Gramm and Foreigner, so Black Sheep, which featured Lou Gramm in the lineup. Never been issued to CD. So look at these. I mean, these are done really well, right? So that's why I kind of hesitate to even call them bootlegs, but I'm quite sure these are not official releases. But great quality, well done packaging. I mean, bootlegs have just come night and day from where they once were. This is another Black Sheep album. They made two called Encouraging Words here, and then the self-titled. So 2 Lou Gramm albums not on CD. They have done like a best of kind of a thing, but again, even that I kind of consider a bootleg because it was not official from Lou Gramm. It was by somebody that owned those recordings. All right, then there's this, Black Horse. Just a cool Southern rock band, no real connection to anyone, but only ever available on vinyl, and I found it on, you know, CD, again, whether it's bootleg or not. So I have hunted down some of these albums and things that are only available on vinyl, are really hard to come by, added them to the collection. This one here being official, it is Tommy Paris of Britny Fox putting out 2 collections worth of demos. And so you can see the way this is done, though. It is done to promote Britny Fox, but it in fact is released by Tommy Paris. These are the demos that he did for the one studio album that came out at that time. Obviously, they did a reunion album and so forth, but these are from that. I think it's 91 was that era of that album. But great stuff. That's on the F&A Records label. You can go order that if you want. Here's a bootleg, Bad English, called Missing, and it's a bunch of tracks that were recorded between the first album and the second album. So an entire album worth of stuff that Bad English hasn't released. It has 12 tracks from that period, 88 to 90, and then it actually adds 2 live recordings on it as well. All right. Coverdale Page live album taken from a live DVD that were probably VHS at the time, but that's really cool. Reason I'm wearing my Cinderella shirt is I've got a Cinderella recording here that features Cozy Powell on it. So it's well known that Fred Corey and some of the other guys didn't always play on the recordings, that they brought in some session guys to flesh things out. Cozy Powell is one of them, and you know, Tom Kiefer would record with him and get things down, and then later go in and have the other guys do it and so forth. But this is the Long Cold Winter album done like that. Now this next one here I'm really interested in, which is just simply called Unreleased Tapes from 83 to 85, and again, bootleg, not official, but you can see it's well done. Of course, they've got photos in here from later era stuff, but it's got 19 tracks on here, 17 of these studio recordings, and then 2 of these are 7-inch versions from 1984. So Shake Me from 84 and Nobody's Fool from 1984. So before these guys put that out on the album in 86, you're listening to these here, and there's a lot of tracks that have never made it to the album. So really cool stuff. Any Paul Di'Anno fans and Iron Maiden? He had an album out just simply called Di'Anno. Have it on vinyl, but wanted it on CD, so picked up a version of this. And a lot of these too come from like Russian territories or the Federation, stuff like that. And you know, maybe official over there, but not official because the band isn't making any money on these. Don Dokken's solo album called Breaking the Chains. This is the album he released, I think, in 1981. Under his name in Germany, and then of course it later came out as Dokken Breaking the Chains, but this is what the original album cover and the mix of it. So there were 2 different pressings, a German pressing and a French pressing, and this includes a DVD of a live concert from 82 as well. Then I've got this, a Danzig demos collection here from 1987 called Live Without a Net. Pretty raw material, but it's interesting to hear what they were sounding like recording the demos. And of course, if you're a fan of Danzig and or the Misfits, then you know some of that stuff is pretty raw, but that's okay. I've got some Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion demos. Hopefully these are going to turn up on the recently announced Use Your Illusion box set that is due out in the summer. When I didn't think it was coming out because 2021, 1991, no announcement of it, I picked this up. Little did I know that it's coming out 1 year later for the 31st anniversary. All right, another Black Sabbath related thing, Heaven and Hell, a tribute to Ronnie James Dio, where they got some different singers to come out and sing for the tribute. They had, let's see, Jorn Landy on here, and Glenn Hughes and Phil Anselmo singing. So, hey, if you ever wanted to know what any of those guys would have sounded like with Black Sabbath, that's a thing to track down. This one's really cool. Again, Iron Maiden fans out there, check this out. This is a 4-disc set, and it's all studio versions of things. It is called The Ultimate Studio Works, The Dickinson Years, and it's got 17 cover songs. It's got 14 alternate versions of things, another disc of alternate versions. So we've got 82 to 93, and then we've got since 1999. Then we've got studio session tracks on here and non-album songs. So lots and lots of material, very cool. One of my favorites that I've got. Now I'm a big fan, of course, of Iron Maiden, because I'm going to show you another Iron Maiden here, but of the Blaze Bayley years. And so this one here, Soundhouse or Soundboard Collection 95 to 98, 3-disc set, 3 separate live shows. And one of them is absolutely phenomenal. I think they're all done from like radio station live broadcasts and things, but man, I wish they'd release one of those. And of course, as I said, I'm an Iron Maiden fan, so here comes one more. The Ultimate Compilation, 78 to 81. This one here, a 2-disc set featuring the Soundhouse tapes. That was the flub I was about to make on the previous one there. Metal for Mothers sessions, BBC Radio 1, Freddie Rock Show sessions, single tracks, the Sanctuary tracks, the EP Live +1, BBC Archives, and the EP Made in Japan, all on 2 discs. So, you know, I would buy all this stuff if it would get reissued on CD. Until it does, I'm going to own these. So cool one here called Iron Horse. This is a Randy Bachman album. And again, I think this one says it's from Great Britain, but not sure that it actually is. I tend to think these are bootlegs, but because I've never seen them on CD any other way. Second Iron Horse album, again, Randy Bachman, Bachman Turner Overdrive, and Guess Who and stuff like that. Now this is one I just bought, the James Gang Bang. And I was attempting to get an Atco Records one, but you can see in this, if you can, how blurry the cover is, and it's just not all that very crisp. Also, this does not have the white logo that is there, or the white label. Atco Records, Atlantic Records, I know what their stuff looks like. I think that is a bootleg. So it goes in this box, and it will not be sitting with the regular collection of other James Gang things for that reason. All right, then I've got this one here, Jackson Highway, another cool Southern rock band. Again, quite sure it's a bootleg because I've never seen it on anything, but they did have a vinyl record out, and a lot of people just rave about them. So I added it to the collection. All right, Kiss fans out there, the Studio Demos 1975. Now, I've owned this one for a couple of years, got it during the pandemic, or the lockdown, I should say, when we first went into it in 2020. But with the Destroyer Era Demos box set released, these demos are now on it, and the box set's actually better condition than these. These were great, but those are even better. All right, Jakey Lee, album here called Rare Works 1981 to 2000. So I know a lot of you guys out there, Ozzy fans, Jakey Lee fans. We got some Mickey Rat, because he was in the band with Stephen Pearcy that later becomes Rat, and he was in Rough Cut before they recorded. Then we've got Badlands, more Badlands, Wicked Alliance project he was part of, and Bourgeois Pigs. So you get all of that stuff from him on this. So a lot of great stuff. All right. Nick Mason, Saucer Full of Secrets live. Now, I had seen him live before the pandemic, and at that time, again, didn't know he would release a live album, so I ordered this. And a lot of times, it's not that that's an issue for me. I want something right then. I had just seen him live. It was so very good, so I ordered it, added it to the collection, and then later he put out an official one, which I bought that too. The Ozzy Osbourne Osmosis demos, or at least that's what it's called, but the real name of this is actually Ozzy Land, and it's demos recorded after the No More Tears album and before Osmosis in 1992. I think 7 or 8 of these are unreleased tracks from that session. They flesh it out with 3 more that later appear on Osmosis, which is why it gets that name, but it's really mismarked. They were not all Osmosis demos. Pink Floyd, Forever and Ever. This here imagines what would be like had Pink Floyd made a double album in 1994. The Division Bell was intended to be a double album. The later album that came out in 2014, The Endless River, which is an instrumental album, save for 1 track that's on there. The original double album was Division Bell plus an instrumental album, an ambient album, which is later what became Endless River. So they've taken this and mixed it all together to say, what if Pink Floyd had done that all at the same time, and they intersperse the tracks and they fade them in and out, and they edit some of them down and give them different mixes. So it's more than just a compilation of that stuff. It's actually a reimagination of it. All right, another Pink Floyd one, Division Bell and Endless River outtakes, and so this one here has 19 outtakes from those sessions. So good. Now there are multiple takes of the same track on there, but it's really, really good. The Wall in Progress demos, 1979. Some of these made it on the box set, but this is the full, complete early demos, 79 and late 79 demos, 28 tracks for each one on it. Not all of those made the box set, so really glad to get a full recording of those. Pink Floyd Animals 8-track version of it, because the first track on here, Pigs on the Wing, is taken and put back together as one complete song. A solo, guitar solo, was added to it. So the first track on this, instead of it being bookended at the end, it's all at the end. It's 4 tracks and it's got a different feel for it. Then we've got Ummagumma, the live album side, just released as 1 disc that's here. This is a flat master transfer complete edition, because the actual album that was later released only had 4 tracks. This one has 5, adding back in the missing track. I can't recall which one it is. I'm going to go with, I think it's Interstellar Overdrive, but I could be wrong. We got Astronomy Domain, Careful with the Axe Eugene, Interstellar Overdrive, Setting the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, and A Saucer Full of Secrets. So just interesting. Some of these things, the way that they're done, they add back in missing pieces, and it's great to get versions of that. I'd love it again if these bands would release it as box sets. So I've got this one here, A Saucer Full of Secrets, the UK mono vinyl rip of this edition. And again, it just sounds different. It's warmer than the CD sounds. So very cool to get these. And I've also got this, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, the 2019 remix of it, stereo remix, that never got released. It was due to be released in the box set that didn't happen for some reason, legal reasons or something. It did make its way out digitally, so there's that. Pink Floyd 1965, this is a cool thing that gathers up some 45s onto one disc here. It's got 6 tracks on it, record 1, record 2. So they took the 45 mono editions and put them all on 1 disc. Here's a cool one, new wave of British heavy metal band called Powerhouse. This band was originally Geordie, which is the band that Brian Johnson, who would go on to, of course, front AC/DC, was part of. After Brian Johnson left, they made 1 album as Geordie, then changed their name to Powerhouse. So I really like Geordie, so I was picking that up for that reason. David Lee Roth, Tokyo Skyscraper, 1988, Japanese tour. Double album featuring, of course, Steve Vai on here, Greg Bissonette, Matt Bissonette, and Brett Tugel. Billy Sheehan was not part of this lineup. He had already left. But, you know, for David Lee Roth live, this is actually really good. He doesn't, in my opinion, he's not a very good live performer. He's a great showman, and he's a great vocalist in studio, but not so much live. So I hunted and hunted until I found a good live recording, and this one here, Japan Tour 1988. There's 2 shows from that. Both of these were very good. If you want to hunt one down, there's that. Rolling Stones 40 Licks Sessions. So too many tracks to count on here, but there is a lot of tracks. Oh, good, we've got it on the inside. 24 tracks on here. Some of these do duplicate up different edits of things, but listen to this. There's so many tracks that didn't make the recording or the release, because they only released 4 songs for that. So Just Because, Dreams, Cried Out, Love Is a Test, When I Call Your Name, You Don't Wanna, then Don't Stop, and Keys to Your Love, which did make it, of course. Lots of tracks that just didn't make it. I don't know why they don't collect these together, finish them off, have a brand new Rolling Stones album out there. It would be really great, of course. All right, this one here, Rolling Stones, called Stones Collectibles. Sorry, I don't know all these because they're not standard studio albums and stuff, so I don't have them locked in like I do with the rest of the albums by these bands. But 17 tracks focusing on a lot of non-album singles, B-sides, stuff like that. Different remixes are on here. Cool stuff like that. Got some more Stones coming. We got Rolling Stones Training Wheels. So it is the Demos to Steel Wheels, a 2-disc set. Of course, featuring some stuff that didn't make the album. Then we've got Voodoo Early by the Rolling Stones. So as you can imagine, demos to Voodoo Lounge. Again, this one here's got 16 tracks on it. Number of duplicate takes and stuff again, but some stuff that didn't make it. This one here is pretty cool. The Emotional Rescue demos, 13 tracks on this one here. It's got some different, I love the art to this one too. I'm sure this was stuff that was done promotional for it, but cool the way they grabbed some of that art from the stuff at the time. This one here, Russian import, The Rods, Heavier Than Thou, official album. Whether or not it's an official release, like I said, because it is from Russia, these things have, booklets and stuff with them. They're not just single disc things with blank inserts and stuff. So that's why I say, it's questionable whether some of these are bootlegs or not bootlegs, but very cool to get them. If they ever get official US releases, I'm going to say this over and over, I will buy them. The Rods, Hollywood. So this was actually released under the 4 names of these guys, Kennedy, Feinstein, Bordonaro, if I say that right, and Caudell. I'm sure I didn't pronounce those right. I apologize. I butcher names so often. But there you go, another album, Stone Fury, Let Them Talk. So I ordered this thinking this was official release because it has been available. And in particular, Point Music, which was a label that had reissued it, but when I got it and the way that the whole thing is done, I'm quite sure that is also a bootleg version of it, so I'm on the hunt for an official one. Sam Hain, November Fire Coming, or November Coming Fire, sorry, got that one incorrect. So this one here, definitely a bootleg. It was officially released on the Imagine label, but the price that I paid for this, no way it could have been an official. And so the cool thing, I mean, look at these. These are silver disc things with the full art on them, right? But I also know it's just how they get read in the CD player and stuff like that. There's ways to tell. I'm quite sure some of these are unofficial, but of course they're great quality. Gene Simmons Band, right? Have you ever heard that? He has gone out on the road and played some shows for a while as the Gene Simmons Band without makeup or anything. Played Loud Park 17. 2 different sets, 2 different shows, one on the 15th, one on the 17th. You get both shows in this, and opens with songs like Parasite, plays Boom Boom, Do You Love Me? It's got some other cool stuff, Wall of Sound, things that don't get played all that often on here. Got Love for Sale, which was an unreleased track for a while. But Radioactive, he does solo material on here as well as Kiss stuff. And let's see if they've got the band on here. We've got Ryan Cook on guitar. Brett Fence is on here, of course, playing with Slash. A lot of Springsteen in this box. I'm going to run through them pretty quick. American Beauty, which was a digital-only release of 4 tracks. Has a CD version of it if you want to buy it as a bootleg. Blood Brothers Extended Edition. So there's this person out there that somehow manages to get a hold of all of this very, very high quality studio material from Bruce, all the stuff that was recorded, 17 tracks on here. Stuff, again, he only released 4 as part of that VHS tape at the time. And here we go, we've got all this other great stuff that he recorded for it. Ghost of Tom Joad Expanded Edition. This is a 19 track edition of it. And again, these are all very well done, packaging and so forth. So Human Touch, 20-track edition of the album. The quality is all the same. So when it moves from one that we know from the album to one that is an unreleased track, the whole thing is mastered at the same level. Expanded edition of Lucky Town. There you go. This one here came with 20 tracks. Then we've got one for Tunnel of Love. And so this one here has, well, it doesn't have the numbers on it. I can't count. Let's see if it's on the inside. 22 tracks on this one. All right, some of these are from different people. This one here called Moonchild Records, Born in the USA, Outtakes, 2-disc set. Disc 1 is 11 tracks, and we got the B-sides, and we got 10 of those, and solo recordings of things that add up to 6 more tracks. A lot of great stuff. But I've got another version of it. That guy that was doing the expanded editions did one. And so we've got that one here, again, a 2-disc set. So when he takes these single albums and somehow grows them into 2-disc sets, it's pretty amazing. So we've got one, an expanded edition for Nebraska. And this one here has 20 tracks on it. So this one's cool too because it's got Born in the USA, which we have heard from his Tracks release, but the acoustic version that was written for that didn't make it. It later, of course, came out on Born in the USA. So you get to hear some of those cool songs that later turn up on Born in the USA done acoustically. The River Expanded. Now this is a 2-disc set that has 24 tracks on the first one, 19 on the second one. I think there's 10 tracks on here that didn't even make the box set, which came with another disc of outtakes and so forth. So this person is not just repeating that stuff. Born on the Edge of Town, or Darkness on the Edge of Town, I'm sorry, getting some of these mixed up, going a little too fast. 20 tracks on the first, 20 on the second, 40 tracks on this, and again, plus 10 tracks that didn't make the 2-disc that came in the box set called The Promise. We've got a Born to Run expanded edition, a lot of extra tracks on this one, 17 total on here. And I got a different version of it. The Essential Born to Run Sessions, this one 13. All of the stuff on this one is session take, outtake stuff. So pretty cool there. Another Randy Bachman thing, Union. So this one here is an essential early version of Bachman Turner Overdrive with Randy Bachman, Fred Turner, or actually this, don't recall the year, or 1981, not early, later version. After those two had both left Bachman Turner Overdrive, they reformed under Union, made one album, no CD version of it available, at least none that I can afford. Vixen Ultimate Edition. So this takes the album itself, or all the extended edition, remixes, Japanese bonus tracks, live tracks, things like that, and put it together here. Plus it's got the Rev Up DVD, which was a home video released at the time. So you can finally see that if you don't have a VHS player anymore. I got some Van Halen in here. Osaka 1998, featuring, of course, Gary Cherone as vocalist. This one done for a video or a TV show or something, so the quality is really good on it. Then I've got this. This is kind of one of my like pride and joy things here. It's called Firestarter, and it's all the early demos prior to the band being signed. So it's got the Gene Simmons demos from 1976 and the Warner Brothers demos 1977. 3 discs of unreleased recordings and stuff of that nature, with 10 or 12 that, again, have never made it to an album. So very cool. White Snake, the Love Hunter Lost, let's see if it Lost Real Masters. So this is a weird thing where they recorded Love Hunter, mastered it down or something, lost those tapes, had to do another one. Maybe I guess they later found them and or recordings turned up from those, but that's what this is here. Plus it's also got some BBC and concert stuff. This was a cool one. Box of Snakes. So, you know, they put out that thing called the Box of Snakes. This is the Test Master. And it basically was all the unreleased material that was being added to it that was not the album. So it's got Live at Reading Rock 1979 and Live at Reading Rock 1980 on here. That's disc 1 and 2. And then disc 3 on here is the videos. It's a DVD. So it's got the 2 live albums plus the DVD that was included in there. And again, just look at the quality of this. Now, whether or not there was really a test master that was done for people to review and check is another story. I don't know how they got it together, but I already owned all the albums, so that's why I picked that up. Another cool one here, Roger Waters' Project Chaos. So this one here takes the album itself, expands it, because when he would perform it in concert, he performed more tracks from it. So when there were B-sides released at the time, it expands the album, which I think was 9 tracks originally, to 14 tracks. And like the Pink Floyd one, same person that did this one did that one, Forever and Ever. This is a reimagining of it. And then we've got this, Roger Waters, the Us and Them tour, which I had seen live. And this one here is a show on Friday, July 6, 2018, Hyde Park, London, which is different than the one that he later released for himself. So very cool to have that. Moscow Rock Festival 1989. Looks to be official, but not entirely sure whether it is or it isn't, because I'd never seen it before when I picked it up. Looks to be released in 1991, Golden Star Records. I think I figured this out one other time, not entirely sure that it was an Italian label, but very cool. It's got live performances from the festival 1989, kicking off with Scorpions, then to Ozzy. We've got Cinderella, Motley Crue, and Bon Jovi performing on that. All right, and then real quickly, I've got a few extra things that just come in these single sleeve things. Unfortunately, no full booklets, but this is a video of Roger Waters' Radio Chaos. I've got 2 albums here. So I did get the Diano in this format. It was a free thing, and then Gog Magog, which is what I really wanted. And then I've got some other Born to Run session recordings, things like that came. So all of these actually were free that are given away sometimes with those bootlegs when you get them. Iron Maiden, the early tracks or extra early tracks. Those have different singers and stuff that, haven't even recorded with the band, but live stuff. Extra rare tracks from the Dickinson years. Some more stuff there, and another Iron Maiden one here. Blazing tracks. This one's actually a really good one. I wish it had full art and full release. It's got 13 tracks on here. It's got cover songs, non-album songs, live versions, and bonus tracks. But you can see it is a burned disc in here, and they don't hide the fact that that's what these are when they give them to you. That's why they're just free. All right, so there you go. That is, again, part of my music collection, Best of the Box. 30 minutes, man. It took a while to go through this, but hopefully you enjoyed all that extra info on these things. All right, everyone, take care. Have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.